So are you saying that the liberal media is mentally ill because of President Trump?
They show symptoms and signs of illness, but it's actually not an illness.
So
Here's
you
what
blame
happened.
President Trump for the mental illness of the liberal media? So I agree
Well,
with you that the media is mentally ill. I absolutely
but
agree with that.
here's the treatment. When you extract the mentally ill person from the family, the healthy people return to normal. And so you treat the ill person before you return them to the family, educate the rest of the family, and have a course of treatment. They will be okay. But without intervention, leaving them simply exposed to the pathology, yes. And we're seeing some of that in our population. Much of the population is beguiled by this president.
I have never, ever in my entire life seen this level of hatred. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Cultural War. In this particular installment, Jess is going to be interviewing a PhD or doctor in mental health. In this interview, she exposed, or Jesse rather, exposed the level of hatred the left-wing liberals have for Donald Trump. you know this is quite an old video, but if you know what's going on in 2024 in the election, prior to the election, and how they attempted to kill Trump like twice, and so many things they tried to do to Trump. They tried to blackmail him and put a lot of crimes on him and so on, to make sure he goes to jail and doesn't make it to the primaries and make it to through the election. But thank God he did. But this video exposes the level of hatred people have for this man, this great man, the great white hope. Guys, watch the video. I'll see you at the other side.
Here I have with me Dr. Bandy Lee. She is a forensic psychiatrist at Yale School of Medicine, expert on violence prevention for the UN's World Health Organization, editor of The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, and president of the World Mental Health Coalition. Dr. Lee, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
You wrote in 2017, you were the editor of a book called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, which is a book of essays that examine Trump's mental health. Explain to us what this book is all about.
The book came out of a conference that I held. Once Donald Trump was elected, many mental health professionals were deeply concerned because they could see the consequences of his psychology, that eventually it would have social, cultural, and political dangers that we're seeing unfold right now. But at that time, it was merely in his psychology. So we felt that Mr. Trump in the office of the presidency would become very dangerous. And therefore, we had that consensus that was shared among anyone I spoke with, but no one was speaking up about it. And so I thought we could perhaps break the silence by holding a conference mainly on the ethics of speaking up, because we've never encountered such a situation before, at least in our own careers. And how do we respond to our professional responsibility to society? Do we have a duty to warn about a dangerous president? Was the question we posed, and the answer came out yes. So we decided to put our analyses together in a book, and that's how the book came about.
Have you ever examined the president?
None of us have. Some of us have had some personal encounters, but not in a psychiatric office setting. But there is a lot that we can tell outside of an examination, and dangerousness is one of them. We cannot make a diagnosis, but diagnosis is only one of many things that mental health professionals do. And it's a very specific technical task that requires all the information, including a personal interview, but many other things do not require an interview.
Are you a Republican?
I am actually of neither party. In fact, before this administration, I was not even that interested in American politics.
Do you vote? Do you vote?
I used to just vote on presidential years. I'm actually embarrassed to say.
So you did not vote? Did you vote for the president?
This time in the midterms, yes.
You voted for the president?
I did not vote for the president. I mean, the symptoms were obvious to me since the start. Also, I'm a New Yorker, so I've heard about a lot of his unlawful deeds before his campaign.
Did you vote for Hillary?
I did vote for Hillary.
Amazing. And so now that the president has been there for nearly 3 years, what has he done to indicate that he has or possibly has mental health issues?
Well, he has shown numerous signs from the start, but as I have said...
Like what, for an example? Give me an example. I'm black and I'm slow. Give me an example or something that he has done to indicate that he has potential mental health issues.
So my main concern was dangerousness, which I have to make clear that violence has very little to do with mental illness. And more mentally ill individuals are more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators. And so you really have to look at the specific symptoms that make one dangerous.
Well, what has to, you give me something that the president did to indicate that he has mental issues?
Those include impulsivity, like tweeting out policies without consulting anybody. That's an example of impulsivity. He's often
But
reckless.
if he didn't tweet out, we wouldn't know the truth because the media lie to the people. Otherwise, we wouldn't know the truth. And so is it mental illness to tweet out the truth?
It's tweeting out simply what the first thing that comes to one's mind is actually more on the impulsive side.
So all the young people are mentally ill then, right? Because they live on Twitter.
Oh, actually, yes, young people are impulsive, but they are naturally impulsive.
So are they mentally ill?
That's a normal stage of development when one is an adolescent, when one is a child or an adolescent, but it is abnormal and a symptom of illness when an adult does it.
Amazing. And so you remember Barack Obama, right?
I'm sorry?
You remember Barack Obama, the black guy that was the president?
Yes.
When he used Twitter in order to help win the election and lied to the people, did that indicate that Obama was mentally ill as well?
We look at patterns rather than single instances. And so he didn't show enough of a pattern to raise alarm.
How about when he lied after lie after lie about
the same thing,
different things? Did that indicate all the lies that he told to the people? If you want to, if you like your doctor, you can keep the doctor. If you like your health insurance, you can keep it, your insurance. He went on Facebook and did a lot of stuff. Did that indicate that Obama was mentally ill?
Again, it's about pattern. He may have said, a number of lies, but it didn't rise above the level of normal politician lying, perhaps. So you look at
but
what is normal.
I'm black and I'm slow, but did that indicate that Obama was mentally ill as well? When he lied after lie after lie after lie?
It didn't rise to the level. The pattern was not severe enough to raise alarms.
Amazing.
In the case of Mr. Trump, it's noted that he has said 10,000 lies during his presidency. So it's not just a matter of you cannot keep your doctor or you can keep your health insurance, which could have been innocent mistakes, by the way. But Mr. Trump, even after being corrected and after advisors tell him not to promote conspiracy theory, for example, he still continues on and he doubles down. And that is a sign of pathology at this level.
The media lie to the people, especially liberal media, day after day after day. Are they doing that because they are mentally ill, deceiving the people? The Democratic Party, the right of Republicans, are they Are they deceiving the people because they're, and I really appreciate you being here, are they deceiving the people because they are mentally ill?
Now the media, what happens is that when you have a president with mental impairment, it trickles down to the population. In fact, even if members of the population do not have a diagnosable mental disorder, they will take on, for example, delusions and symptoms of mental illness when we have a leader who is.
So are you saying that the liberal media is mentally ill because of President Trump?
They show symptoms and signs of illness, but it's actually not an illness.
So you blame President Trump for the mental illness of the liberal media?
I'm not sure what you're referring to. By
you said that the liberal media is mentally ill because of President Trump, right?
No. Here's what happens. This is something that almost every mental health professional experiences. When you have a mentally ill patient and they go untreated and they stay in a family of healthy individuals, it's not the mentally ill person who becomes healthy, but rather the healthy members around the mentally ill person who take on symptoms of mental illness. And it's almost as if they have a mental illness themselves. And it's a very dramatic phenomenon. And it's called shared psychosis. It's a real condition.
So I agree with you that the media is mentally ill. I absolutely agree with that.
Here's the treatment. When you extract the mentally ill person from the family, the healthy people return to normal. And so you treat the ill person before you return them to the family, educate the rest of the family, and have a course of treatment, they will be okay. But without intervention, leaving them simply exposed to the pathology, yes. And we're seeing some of that in our population. Much of the population is beguiled by this president.
So let me ask, this is so interesting to me. Mamma mia! But let me ask, over the last 3 years, more people working now, blacks, women, whites, everybody working. The economy is better. Cut back on taxes. We're safer in our country as a result of President Trump. We
How are you saying safer?
The wall going up. Well, let me just finish this. The wall going up as a result of the president. Are those signs of a mentally ill person? That type of success.
Larger indicators. Recently, a report came out that Americans are the most stressed population in the world.
But let me just ask that question first. The things I've just read off or mentioned his successes. His success is a sign of mentally illness.
I'm sorry?
To be so successful at making the country great again in the last 3 years, is that a sign of mentally illness?
I'm not sure what you're referring to as success.
He cut back on taxes. More people are working now. We are safer. He cut back on restrictions. He's getting black people out of prison.
This is what he's saying. This is what he is promoting, but I think the numbers...
I know, but let me just finish this. He's getting black people out of prisons. We are safer from the enemy around the world. Is that a sign, that type of success, is that a sign of mental illness?
I think a lot of the things you're attributing to him are actually decades, and he's reaping some of the benefits.
You know, I wanted to ask you this, and you're an expert on this. You now have men taking off their male body parts and attaching women body parts and putting on dresses and acting like women. And you have women taking off women body parts and putting on men body parts and wearing men clothes and acting like men. Is that due to mental illness as well?
Well, that's somewhat a cultural phenomenon, and there may be some mental illness in some individuals, but it's more of a cultural phenomenon that may be in response to previous oppression and various notions about sexuality.
So is that cultural phenomenon happening due to mental illness?
I wouldn't call it a mental illness at this point.
Is
but
it sane to do that to your body? To take off your God-given parts and put on fake parts and pretend?
For one thing is that our society is not healthy at this point.
Yeah.
So to respond in certain ways could be a response to that lack of health. It could be a corrective to the lack of health, or it could be a reflection of the lack of health. So I'm saying that one action is not ill or healthy, in a blanket way. We have to look at.
So are you saying that the Great White Hope, the President Trump, are you saying that he's mentally ill for making society better, but the men and women who are taking off their body parts and pretending to be the opposite sex are not mentally ill? Transgender is not mental illness?
Again, I'm not going to comment on people who are having transgender operations because I have not examined them. I have not.
But you haven't examined the president either.
As much information as I do on Mr. Trump. So let's just stick with Mr. Trump.
But you have not examined the Great White Hope either. How could you make a decision about him? Would you like it if someone said...
It's about dangerousness, which is not a diagnosis, does not require an examination, and is actually more accurate from information outside of an examination. And we have voluminous, high-quality information on the president over decades. That's more than enough information. We have requested that the president submit to a personal evaluation.
Amazing.
If he believes he is fit, he should submit to one.
Why should he prove that to anyone? Why should he have to prove his health or non-health issues to anyone? People don't go around proving.
He has shown enough signs of pathology for thousands of mental health professionals to be concerned, and we have been requesting a mental health exam. He has avoided it through fake exams.
Did Obama go through a mental health examination?
We are now asking that all presidential and vice presidential candidates undergo a
Did you ask that of Barack Obama?
We're asking of all upcoming presidents and vice presidents.
But again, I'm black and I'm slow. Did you ask that of, I need a yes or no. Did you ask that of Barack Obama?
No, it was never a concern before Mr. Trump. We've never had such a mentally unstable president in most of our memory. And therefore, he has raised, that is perhaps one contribution he has made, in that he has raised the importance of mental stability and acuity in an important office such as the president's. And we are requiring that from now on of everybody. We're asking that they submit voluntarily.
But it's not true that it wasn't asked before, because they asked that of another Republican president who lost as a result of that. We just talked about him. What was his name again? Goldberg? Goldwater? We asked that of you guys asked that of Goldwater,
yes,
so it has been asked of another. Well, why wasn't it was asked of Goldwater?
Please, it would have been good if they had asked for one, because I believe that he would have passed.
Who, Obama?
Obama, I think he would have passed. Mr. Trump, I sincerely doubt he would be able to, and that's why he's avoiding one.
As a forensic psychiatrist who at Yale University, there are women who are killing their children inside of their wombs, and there are men and women who support it.
Again, these are kinds of conspiracy.
And then they are now. Let me just finish this. Let me finish the question. Let me just finish this.
Mental health.
I know, but let me ask this. And now they are saying that once the baby pops out of the womb after the 9th month, that you can now kill the baby. Don't let the baby live. Is that due to?
That's untrue.
Is that due to?
I believe that's untrue.
No, they just passed that law in New York. They passed it in New York. My question to you, is that mental illness to kill unborn children? Is that mental illness?
It could be. It may not be.
So these women may be mentally ill for.
That fact itself is untrue.
But so these women may be mentally ill for killing their children inside their wombs by way of abortion?
I am concerned about perhaps you're listening to Mr. Trump's rhetoric more than listening to the facts and evidence.
No, I'm asking about these. I want to come back to that. I definitely want to come back to that. But my question is, because you're a mental health expert, these women who are killing their children in their wombs, and some of these children can now pop out in the 9th month and let the baby die, even though Obama wanted the baby to die on the medical table without doing a botched abortion. Without any medical care. Is that due to mental illness that they're willing to kill children in the womb? And even after the baby is born, is that due to mental illness? I just need it. I'm black, I'm slow, and I need an answer to that. You're an expert. Is that due to mental illness?
Not slow, but I think you have a mistaken notion of mental illness.
That's why I'm asking you. Is that due?
It's something that cannot be answered in a yes or no. It requires an examination in this case because there's not enough public data.
How much do you need?
Again, I would like to stick with Mr. Trump, which is, I believe, the reason you're interviewing me for.
Okay, concerning the president, so you won't answer that. So you have never personally examined the great white hope, President Donald Trump, and you have a mental illness mentality about him. When you have the crazy people out there dressing like women and dressing like men and saying, encouraging violence.
They're not a danger to society in the way that Mr. Trump is.
I'm sorry?
They're not a danger to society the way that Mr. Trump is.
But the president
Trump is currently a danger to our nation and to international security, and that is why we're calling for an examination. If he feels that he is fit for the presidency, he should be able to submit to an examination and pass it.
My final question, were you born in America?
I came here when I was a year old. I consider myself thoroughly American, a patriot. I am Christian, and I am...
You're a Christian?
Yes, I am.
And you support...
one, too.
And you support transgender and abortion and all that? How can you be a Christian and support evil?
I'm mainly concerned about our nation's safety and public health, as well as public mental health.
But you're not concerned you're not concerned as a Christian, you're not concerned about the soul of people who are destroying themselves by thinking that they're a man when they're a woman or a woman when they're a man.
Of course I am.
And how about the unborn children?
Those are real concerns. Those are relatively small concerns compared to the much larger concern about human society and human civilization that is at stake.
Amazing.
Wow. Jesse was lenient with this lady. I'm telling you, this lady was just lying. She was very disingenuous. She was gaslighting all through. She wasn't just answering the questions. She was judging. Her focus was just on Donald Trump, the obsession she has with Donald Trump. The hatred was on display in this video. Wow. But Jesse exposed it with questions, one by one, opening her up, and she was exposing herself when she said she was not she doesn't vote, or she was not a liberal or a Republican, but Jesse asked her questions and found out she didn't vote for Trump and she voted for Hillary Clinton, whose hands are very dirty. That's a very dirty woman, and she voted for her. And she claims, and she's there, she has the guts and the temerity to be judging Donald Trump. So it's hypocrisy out of this world. She exposed herself. Jesse exposed her for who she really is. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you see we need to pray for Donald Trump. Thank God he's been elected this time around, and by the special grace of God, he's going to bring down some of this liberals and their all the ideologies and all their policies. You're going to be reversed, and we're going to see some common sense in this 2004 and moving forward. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Drop your opinion. I would like to know. I would like to react to your opinion. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel and hit this the like button, and then turn on the notification bell to get more videos like this. Until next time, peace out.